Meet some of the people who are the heart of the Center for Wildlife.
As the development director, I do all of our donor outreach and communications. I do all of our marketing. I manage the Center for Wildlife brand, and I am tasked with raising $4.5 million for a brand new Center for Wildlife and Conservation campus.
To start, we are sitting at the future home of Center for Wildlife. So the big deal at Center for Wildlife right now is that we are undergoing a capital campaign to build a new facility and campus. Currently, we are treating 2,200 injured and orphaned wild animals every year, hosting 35 interns from across the country. We have 12 paid staff, and we're hosting about 5,000 visitors and presenting 350 programs, environmental education programs to the community every year out of a 1,200 square foot ranch house.
To me, this is an experience. People come up here and then sometimes, we have a self-guided tour and we have a little map inside they can follow. But more than likely, some of the staff are around, and Sarah's maybe here walking around with a Freya, a peregrine falcon, or she could have a turkey vulture on her hand, and people like they just stop in their tracks, especially the children, because they've never seen something like that up so close.
If you haven't been to the current Center for Wildlife, I would highly recommend coming up for no other reason than to see the before and after. We currently operate out of a donated ranch house from 1995 that was never intended to serve the purpose that it has for the past 23 years.
I think Center for Wildlife is unique in the fact that it's one of the largest centers in Maine that takes in mammals and birds and reptiles. And there's so many different opportunities for education. We're educating the public who bring in animals on ways they can help wildlife in their backyard and just learning about their natural neighbors. And we're educating classrooms and school groups and libraries and being able to go to nursing homes and do enrichment for people, as well as all of our interns and volunteers. We're taking veterinary students and wildlife biology majors and kids who want to work in zoos, and just really being able to show them up close the difference in all the animals and what it takes to help them survive and to recover from injuries. And so there's just so many different levels of being able to connect the community and people to wildlife.
The education program at the Center for Wildlife has boomed. And at a time where it's really exciting for us to be able to offer these things to the public. We've doubled our programming in the last few years, which is amazing and powerful. And so our education team is growing. We're able to reach more and more people. We're able to apply for more grant funding, which brings our programming to folks that might not be able to afford it otherwise, both in inner cities as well as in rural settings. Our ambassador program has grown to include a vulture and a crow and an amazing porcupine named Henry, and being able to bring those animals and our educators and our bio products or our bio pieces, the skulls and wings and feet in, just really allows those kids and adults to connect. You see the adults turn into kids again and get all excited. And so we create this safe place for people to ask questions like, do porcupines shoot their quills? Nope, they don't, but I'm really grateful that we have educators and a program that's safe enough for people to ask those things.
So Center for Wildlife has experienced exponential growth in just the past decade. In that time, we've had one addition on our ranch house, and to say that we are cramped is an understatement. There are times where every single counter space is covered. We are stacking carriers on top of each other. We have to have our intern training and onboarding outside at picnic tables, and we are refusing requests for large programs, events, entire second grade classes to be able to visit. And so the new center is going to allow all of those things. It will have the auditorium, it will have a state-of-the-art veterinary wing for our conservation medicine program. And ultimately, what the new facility and campus means is that we can do our work for wildlife and for the community even better than we have been able to out of a small, cramped house with in poor conditions.
You know, from a personal standpoint, a legacy or a donor, you know, I wanted to make a difference, and obviously I have 6 grandkids, you know, so that, you know, to bring them up and to, you know, have them have a place to come to, or, you know, to me it was very important.
The first time I ever came to the Center for Wildlife, I was really blown away by the amazing work that these people were doing to take in wild animals and wild birds that had been injured or orphaned, and really just nurtured them back to life and returned them to the wild whenever they could. And when they couldn't, they would form these really special relationships with the animals that would then educate children and teenagers and adults. So I support the Center for Wildlife because I care about the planet, and I care about wildlife deeply, and I care about knowing what to do when I come across an animal that's been injured or orphaned. So I like to think of myself as an extension of the Center for Wildlife. But I love the idea that this center will grow and it will have its rightful home, and it will not only teach people about the importance of caring for the wildlife and caring for the earth, but it will educate, you know, our future wildlife experts and just, you know, rangers and people that are working to help people fall in love with the planet, because it's true that we protect what we love.
Write this number down, 2,500. That's the number of animals, birds, and reptiles that were admitted this year, and each year that number increases. Now write this number down, 207-361-1400. That's the number to call Emma Bellina with a pledge to help. And that's Henry. He says thanks. Really.